Samsung's Quantum Mini LED monitor has just arrived. The 43-inch Neo G7 is ready to be showcased. Today I'm going to show you the unboxing and give you my review on one of the very few but awesome 43-inch monitors that's on the market today. Hi friends and welcome to Viktors Reality. Today I bring you my review on all that you need to know on this awesome 43-inch monitor. From PC to next generation console gaming, does this mini LED monitor really pack a punch on the peak highlights? Is the auto motion just as good as the QN90C or other Odyssey monitors? Can this monitor handle first-person shooters like the best of them? I'm going to be showing you a variety of content to help you make that awesome buying decision. I will UFO test every single mode. I'll also give you a worst and best case scenario with blooming, even covering the nits test to see how bright this awesome monitor can get with the peak highlights. From the unbox to the setup, welcome to the Samsung Odyssey Neo G7 43-inch Quantum Mini LED HDR 600 powerhouse. Let's go! This is the first 43-inch monitor in the Samsung Odyssey lineup, as the QN90A had a 43-inch version but was locked at 60Hz, and the QN90B, which I showcased here last year, was an awesome next-generation 43-inch TV. Now Samsung is touting this 43-inch Odyssey monitor in the Neo G7 line, showing off 360 zones of mini LED power. As you just saw friends, the unboxing was seamless, packed very nicely and securely, and as you can see here, once you turn on this monitor, it looks exactly like a QN90B or QN90C TV. This is a TV disguised as a monitor. You heard it right friends. The menu system, the smart features, everything is TV-like, just like the QN90B. And new for this year, the QN90C. Now the differences between this line and the TVs are that the TVs are glossier, while this Neo G7 43 does have a matte finish. And of course the overall body design. Here showcasing the menu, it's exactly like a TV. And to me that's a bummer. I actually missed the Odyssey monitor menu. Monitors should stay as monitors, TVs as TVs. They're trying to blend the lines. But that's why you have a 43-inch QN90C. If you're gonna make an Odyssey monitor, make it the best monitor it can be. Don't half it just because you have the technology, Samsung. Now on this channel we showcase Odyssey monitors. I have many of them, and I still believe the Neo G7 and Neo G8 are the top of the line monitors on the market today when it comes to mini LED power and that zone count. SDR looks like HDR on those monitors. So as you've seen this monitor's menu, let's take a look at a variety of tests to help you make that awesome buying decision. Here with the opening of Persona, I have no complaints. Everything is vibrant, everything has so much contrast. Those 360 zones do make this a step above the G70B, which is an IPS panel and has vertical zones. This is a drastic step above, and we'll be getting into some brightness tests in a bit. But if you really want a vibrant, bright monitor, this is it. Games like Persona, with a lot of color and transitions, there is no issue on this Odyssey monitor. The mini LED transitions are super fast. I did not see any trailing or lag on the actual mini LEDs transitioning, so that's a good sign. But everyone needs to know, this is VA. And with only 360 zones, we will be getting some blooming. Here with my Starfield test, you can see the clusters in the middle show blooming. I did raise the ISO from an angle so you can better see the individual zones. I raised the ISO just to show you, but our eyes don't work this way. And if I lower the ISO back to eye level, you can see it will not be an issue whatsoever. Now here's some information with the PlayStation 5, and this will still pertain to the Xbox Series X. 4K, HDR, 120Hz, 60Hz. VRR, Auto HDR, everything just works on this monitor. There is no issues whatsoever. Here I have 3 games running: Demon's Souls, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Gran Turismo. Now for this specific section of the video, I'm gonna zoom in the camera to the monitor's display. At 60 frames, I'm telling you friends, there is no smear whatsoever. Now this is on native, and I'm showing you 60Hz. There is no smear. That's why I'm zooming into the screen. I want you to be able to see it, to capture it. Let me know if you see it anywhere in the comments down below. There is no smear whatsoever, not in real-world gameplay. I'm trying to give you as much information and proof as possible, friends, to help you. This is a great monitor/TV for your PC, and more so for your next-generation consoles, I would say. But as you can see here, in everything I've been able to put at it, from the PlayStation 5 to the Xbox Series X, there is no smear. It's crystal clear. Every single time I get a monitor, I actually put on this game and I go to this specific section because I want to test out the peak highlights. You saw at the intro when the portal opened and that light hit the screen. That was eye-piercingly bright. So you're not going to have any issues with peak highlights in SDR or HDR mode. This is a very dark game, so you would be able to see trail or smear easy on this scene, and there is nothing. Gameplay on next generation consoles are a piece of cake for this monitor. You will not have any issues, especially if you can get this monitor at an awesome price. So what we have to do now is test the actual speakers on this monitor. I would say they're above average, and they even sound similar to the Aorus FV43U, which has the best speakers on a monitor up until today. We will get to a versus video very soon, so just be aware I am gonna higher the volume right now, so you can hear the quality of the speakers, with a battle scene in Ghostwire Tokyo, and some music with the intro of Gran Turismo. And then I'll get back to you, so we can discuss the viewing angles. Here we're going to do a quick angles test. Pardon me for the way I do it, but I do have a tight area. What do you guys think of this viewing angle? Is it atrocious? Is it unviewable? I don't know, guys. But to me, this is not an issue whatsoever. The matte screen on this monitor does really retain all the information that you really need. Of course, it does wash out a tad bit. You do lose some color volume, and things start to degrade at the farthest angle. But I would say 3 people wide, there is no problem. It's only when you start going to person 4 and 5 on the left and right side that things start to degrade a bit. And of course, if you're sitting further back, there is no issue. I am about 3 feet in front of the monitor, so if you're 5-6 feet, even at an angle, there is no issue. What I'm doing here is using the YouTube app with the auto motion on. I do want to show you that it's a bit different than other TVs or monitors. I don't know if this is a firmware bug or we're missing some features, but just so you're aware, in game mode, for Game Motion Plus or in auto motion, even with this latest update, I'm only seeing judder reduction. What's missing is the blur reduction, and that's both in game mode with Game Motion Plus and in the standard picture settings, the auto motion. Now the QN90B, QN90C, even the G70B 32-inch Odyssey monitor I just tested has it. So either Samsung is not putting it on this specific monitor, or we're not getting it, or it's not present yet, and we have to wait for a further update. Here I'm showing you with Judder 10, there is a trail, and it's easily noticeable in content, especially with panning lines like this. I did not notice this at all on the 32-inch G70B that has it, but I notice it here on the 43. You would think the technology in this Neo G7 43 would be superior, but friends, from my testing, the Auto Motion or Game Motion Plus, the monitor menu, everything is a bit slower on this specific monitor. The 32-inch G70B feels snappier and is faster. Either we need a new firmware update to speed everything up and get everything on track, or for whatever reason, Samsung didn't pay too much attention to put all the latest features of those other monitors on this one. It's kind of worrisome, because this is expensive, and this is a Neo product. The Neo G7 or Neo G8 line is top tier mini LED from Samsung, so they're not showing much love, at least not out at the gate, versus the G6 or G70B. I mean, everything looks beautiful, you can see clearly, it's a beautiful monitor. The quality, the colors, the saturation, everything is top notch, but the menu system lags. And like I showed you, we only have the judder option. We're missing the blur reduction. Again, I actually use these features, so it does kind of bug me that it's not present here. And we can't guarantee that Samsung will update these monitors to its fullest, like the other TVs or monitors. So it's just something I had to bring to your attention. Now that smooth motion that I'm talking about is only possible when you're at 60 Hz. I get this comment a lot. You can only access it when you're not enabling VRR. Disable VRR to be able to get that to work. It does also work in the smart apps on the actual monitor itself, or on your next generation consoles. Other than that, if you're using this as a PC monitor, 120Hz, 144Hz, you get what I'm saying. It won't work, because you're already above and beyond what that Auto Motion Plus is trying to do. It's basically trying to double the frames from 30 to 60 or 60 to 120. Now I think that feature is awesome for next generation consoles. but there's no way you would need it for the PC. But you can see here with this HDR video, it is crystal clear, super vibrant, super bright. No problems with blooming, or trails or smear or anything. Now getting into the main focus of this gaming monitor, next generation PC gaming. On my console Resident Evil video, I didn't notice any kind of smear at 60Hz or even with Game Motion Plus on. But now when you run this panel at its max capability, 120 to 144Hz, things turn out a little different. Now here with Doom Eternal, and to be honest with you, we're all expecting a fast VA experience. We want that depth of the picture, and what I'm seeing is more of the same. This panel is very similar to the Aorus FE43U, and for us to get that next generation VA upgrade that we're all wanting, we're gonna have to wait for fast VA, as what I'm seeing here is more of the same. And don't get me wrong, by no means is it slow, it's just that I'm expecting in 2023 to have a little bit better performance. What I really wanted was a Neo G7 or Neo G8 quality at a 43-inch size, and that's not what I'm seeing. Those two panels are super fast, and if I would have to rate them in numbers, I would say those are a 9, while this is a 6 or 7. It's not as fast. I mean, in regular gameplay, as you're seeing here, everything looks good, and maybe because it's at 43 inches, I'm not getting that clarity as the 32, so that could be something that people are not really noticing. It doesn't look as clear or as fast as those monitors, because it's a bigger size. Now, I'm not going to sit 3 feet away from this specific monitor. It's just too big for my eyesight. I'd have to sit about 5 feet away for me not to get dizzy or to enjoy my gameplay. So I think the size has a lot to do with the perceived blurriness or smear that some may say is found on this monitor. Remember, 43 inches is uncharted territory for monitors. We got it with the LG C2 OLED, finally, and now we're seeing more VA panels from Asus, Aorus, and now Samsung. So if you needed an idea, to me, this is comparable to the Aorus FE43U, but with mini LED technology. It's nothing new, but nothing bad. It is what it is, and like I said before, we're gonna have to wait for fast VA, for that truly next generation VA technology, as that can't come soon enough, because IPS, OLED, and QD-OLED are all improving. But I will show you the UFO test, as that's what I love doing, showing you the differences to help you make that awesome buying decision. What you're seeing here is that the two top windows are in game mode, and the bottom is PC mode. Now, native means the color space. There's native and auto, while when you go to PC mode, I just left it at entertain and graphic. To show you the 4 differences, from all the 4 settings, I do prefer entertain. From the Doom gameplay that you've seen just now, everything was recorded on entertain mode, so it has lower smear than the native. But you saw, as I saw, there was no smear whatsoever in gaming. I even panned and moved the mouse quickly. There's nothing to hide. There is no smear on actual gameplay. And we were running at max hertz. No issues whatsoever. Now, of course, the presets or modes or color space is one area. We do gotta test the response time. And to be honest, friends, there is no difference on this monitor. Now, I'm slowing down the camera to hopefully better show you. Standard and faster, to be honest, doesn't make that much of a difference. And extreme on my testing actually produces a little bit of overshoot, so that to me is unusable. I am testing this on a 3080 through DisplayPort, but because this is a review, I gotta showcase HDMI also. Now, I personally bought this for the DisplayPort, but hey, we gotta show everything. As you can see, switching to HDMI mode doesn't do anything different. The smear in the UFO test is still there. Not in actual gameplay. Again, I've tested it. There is no issue. But with the UFO test, what you saw on DisplayPort is the same on the HDMI. Showing you vertical text with the color space of native versus auto. I honestly don't see a difference, but if there is, auto does look better, which would be RPG mode. That's how I have it set up. I do find that the horizontal smear is way more pronounced versus the vertical smear. But again, you don't see that in actual gameplay. Now, this monitor does have 360 zones, so let me raise the ISO to better show you, so you can actually see the zones brighten up a bit when it's moving. Now, the transition is really fast. There is no transition delay like the QN90A, the QN90B, QN90C, I'm sure, and this monitor are top notch. Here I'm gonna lower the ISO to show you. This is what we really see. I don't have any issues with blooming, not even with 360 zones. Now, I wish that little white dot was a little bit brighter, but I believe Samsung didn't make it brighter, because then we would get a ton of blooming like in this section. This is with a raised ISO, with a bigger box. You can see, because there's only 360 zones, there is more blooming. Everything around the box has to brighten up and light up. But you're not buying a monitor for this specific test, or movies, or content that's like this. If you were, you better get an OLED. Again, this is worst case scenario. This is still mini LED, and depending on how sensitive you are to the blooming issue, it may bug you, it may not. Again, I have no issues with this monitor even with my Starfield test. Here I'm showing a NASA SDR peak highlight, And if I put up close my ambient light tester, we're hitting about 573 nits on a peak highlight. Now moving on over to brightness, at a 2% window, we're looking at 590 nits. Now at a 4% window, we're hitting 690 nits of pure SDR power. That's the peak highlights. That's why I love my mini LED monitors. Especially at a 43-inch size, that's pretty nice to hit. At a 9% window, we're at 546 nits. Now getting to 25%, we're about 650 nits. At a 49% window, we're hitting about 600 nits. So if you love that brightness, this monitor has no issues hitting that level. Now hitting a 100% white window, we're at 460 nits. For HDR mode, I would say increase it to about 150 nits, as I did test this with two SDR and HDR videos, and I was getting different numbers. So it really goes to show you, depending on who is testing what on which software, you'll get different numbers. I was not able to pass 900 nits with this monitor on the peak highlight. Remember, this is not a QN90A or B or C 55-inch territory TV or monitor. You're not going to get those kind of peak highlights. And from my testing, the 32G Q950 and Samsung Odyssey Neo G7 and 8 in the peak highlights were brighter in HDR mode than this monitor. But in a future video, I can show off my Cyberpunk test with this monitor versus the others to show you that difference. Here with Pixel Cup, we're hitting almost 300 frames per second. That is crazy. It is super smooth here. Now this is with G-Sync disabled, but at least for this specific easy to handle game, there is no screen tearing. And the main thing is here, there is no trail. On the UFO test there was. On this, there isn't. So I'm gonna put that to bed. There is no issue with smear on this monitor. I've shown you the proof. Samsung has introduced a great 43-inch monitor in the Odyssey lineup. Sure, it could have been better. What I would have liked to see is an actual monitor menu. Don't give me this TV nonsense. If I want a TV, I'll buy a QN90C 43. Look at Battlefield 3. There is no issue with this screen coating. It is crystal clear, super vibrant. No trail whatsoever. This is an awesome monitor, and I will continue to show you the differences between all other monitors versus this one. My next test, I want to show the Aorus FV43U versus the Samsung Odyssey 43-inch Neo G7. I also want to try maybe an on TV from Walmart. A $250 50-inch TV to show you what smear really looks like versus this awesome monitor. But again friends, I really think this is a TV disguised as a monitor. Other than the minimal Odyssey design, there is no lighting in the back. Just those two little horizontal lines, and they're dim at that. The G70B is way brighter. On that monitor, it looks a lot cooler. So again, what is Samsung really trying to do here? Give us an awesome TV or monitor? I don't think Samsung answers that question with this specific Odyssey. The QN90C is a TV, and we all know that. The only thing I can say, friends, is that we have to wait for fast VA technology to hit the masses, especially this 43-inch size. I would say that the VA smear that you saw in the UFO test would be cut in half, but that would be some truly next-generation VA tech. I don't know about you guys, this monitor is a winner. I'm enjoying the 43-inch form factor, next-generation consoles and PCs with real-world content. Real world has no issues whatsoever. But what do you expect? This is not OLED. You gotta know what you're buying. This is not top tier Neo G7 or 8 VA technology. This is a step down. Even though this is touted as a Neo G7 because of the mini LEDs, it's still not quite up to par with the Neo G7 or Neo G8. Now if you were to ask me, would I sell my Neo G7 or 8 to get this monitor? It's an easy no. Those two monitors, to me, offer much more impact. And it's easier to handle. It's 32 inches, which I think is the perfect size for a desk. At the 43-inch size, I wouldn't really call this a monitor. This is much more of an enjoyment display, because look what they're doing here. They're adding TV features. But it's very versatile. You get the best of both worlds. And I hope this video did answer some questions, and maybe it helped you buy it, maybe not. Maybe you think it's still trash, maybe you think it's awesome. That's for you to decide. I just love showcasing technology to help you make that awesome buying decision, and I really hope it did. So friends, if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button so more people can see it to help them make that awesome buying decision. Consider subscribing if you want more information on the full Odyssey lineup of future monitors, breaking news, and reviews. Thanks for watching friends, stay safe out there, I'll see you guys next time.